Welcome to the Sports Press Box Summer Edition. My name's Darren, and it's great to be with you for another episode over summer. Guy and JT are taking a well-earned rest, but they'll be back very soon to bring you more great episodes of the Sports Press Box. On this week's episode, we've got some more great sports news. We got the pink test that's kicked off today between Australia and South Africa. The story behind the pink test and why it's called the pink test. We've got some Big Bash, the KFC Big Bash League news. Player has been suspended for 1 month. We've got the news about Australian cricket broadcast rights, and the CA and the ACA renamed the Men's Test Player of the Year award to honour Shane Warne. We've got some more news from the Santos Tour Down Under. We've got some soccer news and a whole lot more coming up on this episode of the Sports Press Box. We're going to go to an ad now, and we'll be right back.
You'll miss all the action if you're glued to your betting app.
Don't let a bet take you away from the game.
Reclaim the game and be gamble aware.
You're listening to the Sports Press Box Summer Edition with Darren. And it's great to be with you for 2023. A very, very happy New Year to everyone. I hope you had a great Christmas and everyone was spoiled and you had a very safe start to 2023. So good to be with you. We're going live tonight. We're on Mixler.com. If you want to tune in live, you can. We're on Mixler.com. Just go to Mixler.com and search for Ozsports Radio. We're just experimenting here, just trying some new ways to get our podcast out there. So jump on and let us know where you're listening from. Until then, let's get on with some more sports news here. As I said, we're going to start with some cricket. And cricket stars unite to make the 15th pink test one to remember. McGrath Foundation launches campaign to sell over 150 virtual pink seats to support families with breast cancer.
We can support more than 2,100 families with a McGrath breast care nurse this year. And in order to do so, what we've got to do is we've got to sell more than 150,000 virtual pink seats. So get on to pinktest.com.au and buy your pink seats and help us out.
McGrath Foundation co-founder and president Glenn McGrath was at the Sydney Cricket Ground on Monday the 2nd of January to launch the 15th NRMA Insurance Pink Test, calling on Australians to come together to make this pink test one to remember and support families experiencing breast cancer.
Sadly, breast cancer is the most diagnosed cancer in Australian women, with 57 people a day being diagnosed. When the pink test happens, what these people say to me is that they feel recognised, they feel supported. It's a very special moment for them.
Marking the 15th pink test milestone, McGrath was joined by Australian men's cricket team head coach Andrew McDonald, who made his test debut for Australia at the pink test in 2009, as well as former South African cricketer Morne Morkel, who also played in the now historic match. Announcing that the virtual pink seat campaign is back and by popular demand, McGrath said all funds raised during the pink test will go directly to funding the McGrath breast care nurses to support families experiencing breast cancer. This year marks the 15th pink test with Australia's help. We want to make it one to remember. Our goal for this pink test is to sell 150,000 virtual pink seats, which will ensure 2,100 families will have the crucial care and support of a breast care nurse this year. Over the last couple of years, we've seen the virtual pink seats have come to represent more than just a seat, the message of support, memories and thanks that are shared along with the seat show just what this annual moment means to people. 57 people diagnosed with breast cancer in Australia every day. The sad reality is that most people know someone who has been or will be impacted by the disease. We're calling on people around the country to get behind our virtual Pink Seat campaign to remember where the Pink Test all began and honour those who have been touched by breast cancer, McGrath continued. Since the Pink Test was established in 2009 following the passing of McGrath Foundation co-founder Jane McGrath, Cricket Australia, the SCG and the cricket community have continued to rally together in an outpouring of support, with the Pink Test becoming a symbol of hope and unity for people with breast cancer.
Great way to bring lots of people together around the country who can't make it to the SCG, to be able to have a small part in buying a seat, putting it on your socials, or however you want to say that you've donated, is a great way to do that.
Andrew McDonald, Australian men's cricket team head coach, said, 15 years ago I made my Test debut during the first Pink Test, which was incredibly special. It's been phenomenal to watch how this Test grows and gets pinker each year. This is my first Pink Test as Australian men's coach, and I'm proud to be here with the players to help the foundation make it one to remember. Morkel, former South African cricketer, said, this is the first time South Africa has played at the SCG since the first Pink Test in 2009, which was fantastic to be part of. It's really a test match unlike any other. And I love that people right across Australia and South Africa can feel part of it by buying a virtual Pink Seat. Alex Carey, Australian Test cricketer, said, the Pink Test is always a really special day in the calendar for Glenn and the McGrath Foundation, and to be part of it last year was really special. To hand over the pink baggy caps is something that all playing group are really happy supporting.
My mum and dad a virtual Pink Seat this year. They weren't there last year. My wife was able to make it, so she had a seat in the stands, but I'll be able to buy mum and dad, brother and sister a Pink Seat to say thanks for their support, but also to support the amazing cause.
Cricket Australia CEO Nick Hockley said the NRMA Insurance Pink Test is such a recognisable highlight of the Australian sporting calendar. We are inspired by the incredible work of the McGrath Foundation and are so proud that our partnership continues to grow and provide such critical support to families affected by the breast cancer. I can't wait to see the SCG once again dressed in pink and encourage everyone to get behind the virtual Pink Seats campaign to help fund more McGrath breast cancer care nurses right across Australia.
I think the reason it has become so special is pink is more than a colour, it's an attitude. And no matter who you are or where you are, you can get involved in any way you like. We have people turning up with pink beards, pink sombreros. People you would never expect to be dressed head to toe in pink are showing their support, and it's quite incredible.
Sydney Cricket Ground CEO Kerry Mather said, it's an honour to host the 15th Pink Test at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and we are so proud to have been a key supporter of the McGrath Foundation from the very beginning. We look forward to helping make this Pink Test one to remember, honouring the legacy of Jane McGrath and all people impacted by breast cancer. To help the McGrath Foundation make this Pink Test one to remember, you can purchase virtual Pink Seats for $20 at pinktest.com.au. That's pinktest.com.au, and share them with your story across your socials. If you're at the SCG, you can make a donation to receive a limited edition NRMA Insurance Pink Test bandana. Up to 5 seats, as well as group virtual Pink Seats, are available that can be personalised and shared with at hashtag PinkTest and hashtag McGrath Foundation. Visit pinktest.com.au, I say that again, pinktest.com.au, to find out all the ways you can get involved in the 2023 Pink Test to support the McGrath Foundation. You're listening to the Sports Press Box Summer Edition with Darren, and we'll be right back straight after the music. If you've just tuned in, you're listening to the Sports Press Box with Darren's is the summer edition, and we're currently talking about cricket. And we've got some news from out of the KFC Big Bash League. They've released a statement. Hobart Hurricanes player Matthew Wade has been suspended for one KFC Big Bash League match. Wade received one suspension point after incurring 3 Level 1 Code of Conduct breaches within 18 months. Charges in that period relate to 2 instances of use of an audible obscenity and 1 instance of abuse of cricket equipment. Wade is suspended from Christmas Eve's KFC Big Bash League 12 match between the Hobart Hurricanes and the Melbourne Renegades at Blundstone Arena, Hobart in Tasmania. Haven't been able to find what actually happened, but that's all that the KFC Big Bash League are saying at the moment. So yes, not good that Matthew Wade has been suspended for one match. Sure, the Melbourne Stars will miss him in that game on Christmas Eve. Okay, moving right along here at Ozsports Radio. And if you'd like to know which TV channels you're going to be able to watch cricket on in the future, I can tell you it has not changed. If you live in Australia, Seven and the Foxtel Group to remain the home of Australian cricket. Cricket Australia, CA, has extended its broadcast partnership with the Foxtel Group and Seven West Media for a further 7 years in a record media rights deal for Australian cricket. Cricket Australia CEO Nick Hockley, Foxtel CEO Patrick Delaney, and Managing Director Seven Melbourne and Head of Network Sport Lewis Martin held a press conference at the SCG on yesterday, that was Tuesday, January the 3rd. Under the agreement, the Foxtel Group, including Fox Sports on Foxtel and streaming service KO Sports, 7 and 7 Plus, will broadcast Australian international men's and women's matches, as well as the WBBL and the BBL until 2031. New broadcast rights deal, which runs from 2024 to 2031, is worth a $1.512 billion to Australian cricket. Under the new deal, the BBL will be reduced from its current schedule of 61 matches to 43, allowing for increased player availability, greater proportion of prime time matches, and stronger alignment with school holidays. The deal is 10.5% per year cash uplift on the current 6-year deal signed in 2018 and represents a 16% uplift on the previous agreement based on comparative volume of content. On average, the volume of international fixtures per year is consistent with the existing agreement, with improved scheduling for both the men's and women's games against India and England. Seven has withdrawn its legal proceedings against CA, or Cricket Australia, relating to recent seasons affected by the pandemic. The new deal followed a competitive process involving all the Australian major commercial broadcasting networks. Other key elements of the U broadcast include every game will be shown live on Foxtel Cricket through Foxtel and KO Sports, including men's white ball games and 10 exclusive BBL matches. The Foxtel Group's exclusive BBL matches will include a Super Saturday series shown on Fox Cricket through Foxtel and KO Sports. 7 will broadcast all men's Test and women's international matches, 23 WBBL matches and 33 of the 43 BBL matches, including 3 BBL finals. All 7 games will also be streamed on 7+, allowing cricket to increase its reach. The term of the deal includes 2 home 5 Test men's matches, men's series against India, 24th to the 25 and 28 to the 29, and 2 home 5 Test men's Ashes series, the 25, 26, 29 and 30. An improved women's international program including home multi-format series against India, England and South Africa in the first 3 years of the deal. Nick Hockley, Cricket Australia CEO, said, "We are delighted to be continuing our broadcast partnership with the Foxtel Group and 7 under an improved deal. The quality and reach of the Foxtel Group and 7's cricket production is first class, and the outstanding service they provide cricket fans was a strong consideration in our decision to continue with this successful partnership. The breadth and quality of cricket to be played in Australia over the coming summers is extraordinary, and we are looking forward to working with our partners to not only televise the games, but to promote and grow cricket by encouraging more kids to pick up a bat and ball. This is also an important commercial outcome for all Australian cricket, and one that will ensure we can continue to deliver important community programs, support volunteers and increase participation to keep cricket strong. We sincerely thank all the broadcasters who participate in the process. The strong levels of interest in cricket again emphasised both the enduring value of cricket and the place it holds in the hearts of Australians." Foxtel Group's Chief Executive Patrick Delaney said, "With cricket rights secured for the next 7 years, the Foxtel Group remains the undisputed home of the most popular and premium sports in Australia. This extension is great news for our 4.6 million subscribers who will see our world-class talent and production teams at Fox Sports continue bringing the magic like they always have across Foxtel and KO Sports. The Foxtel Group is the home of cricket in Australia, and we're proud of our role. Our investments over more than 2 decades have played in supercharging the growth of the sport from grassroots through to elite level. Together with 4K on Foxtel and our continued investment in innovation with multi-sport environment on KO Sports, we deliver a fan experience like no other and will support the continued growth and promotion of cricket in Australia. Renewed partnership with Cricket Australia complements our other multi-year agreements with the International Cricket Council, the IPL, and the cricket boards of various countries, including New Zealand, England, South Africa, and India, to show the best of global competitions and matches to fans right around the country." So it looks like, so 7 and Foxtel and KO is going to be your homes for cricket for the next few years. Whether you're happy with that or you would have liked it to go back for the free-to-air rights back to Channel 9, it's up to you. Let us know what you think on the cricket TV rights. You can go to the Ozsports Radio's Facebook page and leave us a comment, and your comment may be read out on the next edition of the Sports Press Box Summer Edition. So that's the Ozsports Radio's Facebook page. Okay, I think after all that cricket use, I think we need to go to some messages, and we'll be right back.
It's what we play in the gyms, the parks, the backyards, and on the street. It's a way of life. When grit and grind take over, it's unmistakable what can be born.
Forced him into the air, and it's going to catch.
Unmissable moments, undeniable talent. 24 on the clock, all eyes on the rock.
Oh, that's just extraordinary.
From street to stadium, country to coast, it's unstoppable.
2 more, thank you. Tough defender, real competitor. How about that?
No matter who we are or where we're from, nothing comes close to summer hoops.
All the answers here. The big fella. They are on fire.
Hungry Jacks NBL, unrivaled.
This is a world-class league.
Sports Press Box Summer Edition right here, right now with Darren. Great to be with you.
Of the world are on our state. Anticipation as the time draws near. In the south of the nation, the event of the year. Hear the hum, the wheels never rest. Machines of steel face the ultimate test.
If you're a cycling fan, then get excited. It's the Santos Tour Down Under, and of course that is the theme song for the Santos Tour Down Under, and that's what we're going to start our cycling segment on. Santos Tour Down Under champions return to Australia's greatest cycling race. Past victors from Santos Tour Down Under will return to Australia in January for the opening race of the 2023 UCI World Tour. Adelaide's own and former world champion Rowan Dennis, now riding for Jumbo Visma, took home the Santos Tour Down Under title in 2015 when he heroically beat his then teammate Cadel Evans in a thrilling finish at Paraco. He also took home the Young Riders jersey in the same year, making his mark in front of his home crowd and the international cycling community. Since then, Dennis has become a double world champion for Australia with dominant victories at the men's individual time trial in 2018 and 2019. Most recently, he claimed the gold medal in the individual time trial at the Birmingham Commonwealth Games in 2022. Israel Premier Tech's Daryl Impey holds a notable record as the only male rider to have successfully defended their Santos Tour Down Under crown with back-to-back wins. His aggressive but strategical efforts in 2018 and 2019 gave him the general classification wins, beating the king of Willunga Hill, Richie Port, on both accounts. The South African's triumphant Santos Tour Down Under history also includes helping Australian teammate Simon Gerrans to overall victories in 2014 and 2016. 2005 overall winner Luis Leon Los Sanchez has previously delighted Santos Tour Down Under fans with multiple stage victories and general classification contentions across the past 17 years and still holds the record as its youngest overall winner. Sanchez's victory at the 2005 race was a launching pad for his international cycling career that includes winning the Paris to Nice, 28 Grand Tour participations and multiple Tour de France stage wins, making him one of the most seasoned riders to line up at this year's race. The experienced Spanish pro cyclist will make its 12th appearance in Australia's greatest cycling race with Astana, Kazakhstan in 2023. Santos Tour Down Under race director Stuart O'Grady said fans will be excited to see these names on the starting list for 2023. Dennis, Impey and Sanchez are heroes to spectators and they have engraved themselves into the history of the event, O'Grady said. Dennis will be the man to watch in the EFX prologue, our first ever prologue, while Darrell and Lewis will be working hard to set up their teammates in the later stages. Santos Tour Down Under has produced many great champions in its 20-year history. To have them return and battle against the US emerging talent signifies the appeal of the race. It also means this year's event will have great pedigree of riders, with the best out on top after the summit finish at Mount Lofty. The Santos Tour Down Under is taking place in Adelaide and regional South Australia from the 13th to the 22nd January 2023. It will feature 9 days of UCI World Tour men's and women's racing. For more information, head to tourdownunder.com.au for more information. That website again, tourdownunder.com.au. And I don't think we can ever have enough of that great theme song, so let's hear a bit more of it now.
Awaits. The eyes of the world are on our state. Anticipation as the time draws near. In the south of the nation, the event of the year. Hear the hum, the wheels never rest. Machines of steel.
You miss all the action if you're glued to your betting app.
Don't let a bet take you away from the game.
Reclaim the game and be gamble aware.
Sports Press Box Summer Edition with Darren. You're listening to our weekly podcast. As I said, my name's Darren. I'm stepping in for Guy and JT as they take a break, but they will be back later this month for more great episodes of the Sports Press Box for Series 2 or Season 2. And we're now going to talk about soccer. And it's not a bit of a sad story, actually. Pelé, the Brazilian virtuoso whose captivating skill and athleticism ensured he was universally regarded as one of football's greatest players, has died at the age of 82. Pelé, who had a colon tumour removed in 2021, was readmitted to Albert Einstein Hospital in São Paulo in November amid deteriorating health. A hospital statement on Thursday confirmed the death of our dear king of football at 3:27 p.m. local time. Due to the failure of multiple organs, a result of the progression of cancer of colon associated with his previous clinical condition.
A boy called Edson, who would forever be the only man to have won 3 World Cup titles. Pelé dragged football from black and white into colour and made Brazilian yellow look perfect next to World Cup gold. The trophy may have been called Jules Rimet, but it was peppered with the fingerprints of Pelé.
I got the gift from God to play football. I try to give my best, to give the best for the people, for the crowd.
Before he was the world's greatest, to a young Pelé, his father was the best footballer around. But when he got injured and his club stopped paying him, Pelé became a shoeshine to help the family out. But every day after school, he put on his football boots, and his talent meant at 16 he joined the Brazilian side Santos. And then at 17, he was called up to join the Brazilian national team to play in the 1958 World Cup in Sweden. This was when he changed everything. Because before then, Brazil was haunted by 1950, when the side lost to Uruguay in the final at the Maracanã in Rio, a moment that brought tears to Pelé's father's eyes.
My father used to say, man should be strong, man doesn't cry. Then I saw my father cry when Brazil lost the game. Then I told him, Father, no, don't worry, I'm going to win 1 World Cup for you. Don't worry, I was 9 years.
The promise was kept. Pelé became the youngest goal scorer ever in a final, and Brazil won their first World Cup title.
I don't think his importance in Brazil can be understated. If you look at Brazil before 1958, it wasn't this sort of football nation. 12 years later, when Pelé wins his 3rd and final World Cup in 1970, everybody in the world knows Brazil for its football. It's a football nation, and it's a football nation because of one man. He's this guy who always has this great sense of occasion, that he creates iconic moments. He won't ever disappear in a World Cup final. He'll score one of the greatest goals ever in 1958. He'll score that brilliant header in 1970. And I think that's the thing with Pelé. People get into the argument of who's the greatest, and I think these sort of cross-generational discussions are particularly helpful. But I think the one thing you have to always say with Pelé is that he did it first.
If club football then and now was focused on the European scene, Pelé stuck to his roots. He never left Santos for any of the big European clubs.
I think the other thing people forget with Pelé is that he's very, very Brazilian, and he loves being Brazilian. He played his whole career in Brazil, technically. So he's this very proud Brazilian man and very proud of where he's from and who he represents. And certainly when we talk to him, I think the thing he was proudest of was putting his country on the map.
He would spend the last 2 years of his playing career at the New York Cosmos, one of the first big names to try to make soccer, a rival to the other, more popular American sports.
A privilege for me to meet the outstanding soccer players in the world today.
For Pelé defined football partly because his rise coincided with the televised game and mass media. The skills, the smile, the success, unbeatable and oh so marketable. But there could be two sides to Pelé. He was on the one hand the gentleman. He could have held a grudge with Gordon Banks for that famous save. Instead, they were friends, and he was there to unveil Banks' statue in Stoke in 2008. And he used his status for good. Following his retirement, he sought to help children out of poverty, made a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador, as well as an honorary knight in the UK. That set him apart in many ways from Maradona, the bad boy, the other South American great. They both shared FIFA's Player of the Century award in 2000. But the other side of Pelé was the unfaithful husband, admitting to numerous affairs, as well as long denying children out of wedlock.
And under General Branco, the army revolted and seized Rio de Janeiro.
And there were some who questioned his place in Brazilian history. The height of his fame came after the 1964 coup that led to 2 decades of military rule. Pelé went along with the status quo, and many argue he should have spoken out.
I think his defence is that he had no interest in politics. He didn't want to get involved in politics. He didn't see it as his job. His job was to play football, and that's how he would give joy to people. And I think he's this very proud Brazilian who thinks, by putting my country on the map and by representing Brazil on the global stage as a footballer, I'm doing far more for my country than any politician ever could.
Pelé was the ambassador for football at a time when the other greats, Michel Platini, Franz Beckenbauer, became mired in scandal. As the game became less about ball to foot and more about cash in hand, Pelé leapt above, just as he did on the pitch. A different era. Because for all the money in the world, Pelé reminded us that you can't change the basics. 90 minutes, 2 teams of 11. And there was only ever one man you wanted wearing the number 10.
What's your ambition?
My ambition?
You're still a young man.
Thanks, God. My ambition is to make people happy.
Well, you've done that all your life.
I tried.
So thank you very, very much.
My pleasure. Good luck. My pleasure.
A statement from Pelé's official Instagram page added, "Inspiration and love marked the journey of King Pelé, who peacefully passed away today on his journey. Edison carried out social works all over the world and spread what he most believed to be the cure for all our problems, love. His message today becomes a legacy for the future. Generations love, love, and love forever." Condolences go out to every Brazilian soccer fan, both in Brazil and across the world, and especially to his family too. Now we move on to some soccer news closer to home. The A-League media have released A-League's fixtures, and they're rescheduled due to extreme heat forecast for Melbourne and Adelaide. A-League fixtures rescheduled due to extreme heat forecast for Melbourne and Adelaide as a result of the expected extreme heat wave conditions in Victoria and South Australia. The APL, Australian Players League, have today made the decision to reschedule a number of the upcoming Liberty A-League Women and Isuzu Ute A-League men fixtures in Melbourne and Adelaide, in line with the APL heat policy due to the upcoming Christmas period. The decision was taken today to give clubs and players adequate notice. The APL heat policy states that if the ambient temperature approaches 40 degrees and or the wet bulb globe temperature, the WBGT, exceeds 28 degrees Celsius, that matches should be delayed or postponed. In addition, drinks breaks should be implemented if the ambient temperature is in excess of 31 degrees and or the WBGT is between 26 degrees and 27.9 degrees. A Liberty A-League women fixture between Melbourne City FC and Perth Glory at Amy Park in Melbourne will now kick off at 8:15 Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and will move the kick-off time for the Isuzu Ute A-League men's match between Melbourne City and the Central Coast Mariners to 5:30 p.m. For fixtures at Cooper Stadium in Adelaide, we have postponed the Liberty A-League women fixture between Adelaide United and Wellington Phoenix and moved the kick-off time for the Isuzu Ute A-League men match between Adelaide United and the Liberty A-League women match between and the Newcastle Jets to 7:45 p.m. Australian Central Daylight Time. The Liberty A-League women's match between Western United FC and Newcastle Jets, which was to be played on Wednesday the 28th of December at City Vista Recreation Reserve, has also been postponed. Details for the rescheduled Liberty A-League women's matches will be announced in due course. All other Liberty League women and Isuzu Ute A-League men matches for the remainder of the season are scheduled to go ahead as per the fixture. And for more information on fixtures and whether any more games will be delayed or cancelled, visit www.keepup, that's KEEPUP.com.au. I say that again, that's www.keepup.com.au. And we're just going to go to some music here and messages, and we'll be right back on Sports Press Box Summer Edition.
Here for the atmosphere, not the gambling.
Here for the memories, not for early bet payouts.
Here for the loyalty, not to punt on first goal scorers.
Here for my heroes.
Not for my multi.
Here for the fans.
Not the odds-on favourite.
What are you here for? Gambling may harm. You could lose more than a bet. Visit hereforthegame.com.au.
You're listening to Sports Press Box, proudly brought to you by Viva Teamwear, the summer edition with Darren. And will be renamed the Shane Warne's Men's Test Player of the Year at the Australian Cricket Awards on January the 30th. Warne played 145 Test matches in a career that spanned from 1992 to 2007. He is Australia's all-time leading wicket-taking in a 5-day format. The announcement was made at the NRMA Insurance Boxing Day Test match as fans paid tribute to the Spin King at his beloved MCG. The Australian Cricket Awards are held on an annual basis to celebrate the performances of Australian players across national and domestic cricket, and is headlined by the Alan Border Medal and the Belinda Clark Award. Cricket Australia Nick Hockley said, "As one of Australia's all-time greats, it is fitting we acknowledge Shane's extraordinary contribution to Test cricket by naming this award in his honour, perpetuity." Shane was a proud advocate of Test cricket, and you only have to look around at all the fans who came out to the MCG in their floppy hats and zinc on Boxing Day to realise what a profound impact he had on the game. The whole cricket community continues to mourn his loss, and our thoughts are, as always, with Shane's family and friends, particularly his children Brooke, Jackson and Summer. Australian Cricket Association Todd Greenberg said, "I'm proud that the ACA, along with the Cricket Australia, is able to recognise the incredible impact Shane had on Test cricket with an award named in his honour. While he was once in a generation player, he was very much a man who understood the important contribution of all players made to Australian cricket. He played an important role in the formative years of the ACA and never knocked back an opportunity to promote and grow the game. And once they came, nobody knew how to put on a show, quite like Warnie, particularly here at the MCG. Our thoughts remain with Shane's family, particularly his children Brooke, Jackson and Summer, and his many, many great friends within cricket." And now that ends our episode for this week. Thanks for joining in. Have a very great week, and if you're not back at work, then keep enjoying your holidays. And if you're back at work, well, I hope it's a relaxing time back at work. My name's Darren. This has been the Sports Press Box Summer Edition, always proudly brought to you by Viva Teamwear, and we thank them very much for their continued support. My name's Darren. Bye for now.